Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the world of sports, FIFA has made a historic decision that will be remembered for generations. The global football community is reeling as the governing body of the sport has just announced a change that no one saw coming, a decision that will alter the course of the 2026 Men's World Cup and reshape the future of international football. In a stunning turn of events, the United States has been stripped of its co-hosting rights for the 2026 Men's World Cup. Stadiums that were once set to be filled with roaring crowds and the vibrant energy of the world's biggest sporting event now stand empty, their fate uncertain. The American flag, once a symbol of pride for the tournament, is now lowered in disappointment as fans across the nation struggle to process the news. In a dramatic shift, Canada will now serve as the primary host nation, taking on the enormous responsibility of absorbing most of the matches that were originally planned for American soil. Canadian cities like Toronto and Vancouver are preparing to step into the global spotlight, with stadiums and communities bracing for an influx of teams, fans, and media from around the world. The eyes of the footballing world are now fixed on Canada as it rises to meet this unprecedented challenge. This marks the first time in the long and storied history of the World Cup that a host nation has been involuntarily removed from its duties. The United States, once poised to showcase its passion for the beautiful game, is left reeling from the shock. News headlines blare the stunning development, and a somber mood has settled over American cities that had been preparing for a celebration years in the making. According to FIFA, the decision was not made lightly. The organization cited a rapid and alarming deterioration of security and political stability within the United States, stating that it had become impossible to guarantee the safety of fans, players, and officials. Images of heightened police presence, new security barriers, and protests outside government buildings paint a picture of a nation in turmoil, unable to provide the assurances required for an event of this magnitude. The announcement has triggered immediate chaos and confusion. In the United States, political leaders are expressing outrage, demanding answers and accountability. Meanwhile, Canadian officials are scrambling to coordinate logistics, security, and infrastructure on a scale never before attempted. Across both nations, millions of soccer fans are glued to their screens, watching the breaking news unfold and wondering what this means for the future of the tournament. The World Cup, an event designed to unite nations and celebrate the spirit of competition, has instead become the epicenter of a global crisis. International fans are left in disbelief, holding onto their tickets and merchandise with uncertainty. News anchors around the world are reporting on the crisis, as the football community grapples with the reality of a tournament thrown into disarray. As the dust settles, the full impact of this unprecedented move is only beginning to unfold. The fate of the 2026 World Cup and the legacy of those involved now hangs in the balance, with the world watching every development. The 2026 World Cup was supposed to be a North American triumph, with the U.S. as the senior partner, but cracks appeared as the U.S. political climate grew volatile, especially after the 2024 election and a sweeping travel ban that barred entry to several qualified nations. Human rights groups sounded alarms, and images of military crackdowns in host cities like Los Angeles shocked the world. Protests erupted in Miami and Atlanta over worker protections and displacement of vulnerable communities. FIFA's new human rights requirements proved powerless against the escalating unrest. The dream of a unifying tournament quickly unraveled into a public relations disaster. Political violence surged in the U.S., pushing FIFA's confidence to the brink. High-profile attacks, including 2 assassination attempts on President Trump and the killing of activist Charlie Kirk, created an atmosphere of fear. Social media exploded with calls to strip the U.S. of hosting rights as images of chaos went viral. FIFA's assurances sounded hollow amid escalating violence and security failures. The risk to players, fans, and officials became undeniable. The killing of Kirk was the final straw. No one felt safe. FIFA's decision, though shocking, became inevitable. The U.S. was no longer a viable host for the world's biggest sporting event. With the U.S. out, FIFA turned to Canada, the only remaining co-host with the infrastructure and stability to step up. Canada's reputation for safety, strict gun laws, and political calm made it the obvious choice. The Canadian government moved quickly, promising security and visa-free access for all teams and fans. Cities like Montreal and Edmonton were added to the roster, and preparations ramped up at breakneck speed. The challenge is immense. expanding stadiums, transportation, and accommodations for millions. For Canada, it's a chance to shine on the world stage and redefine its global identity. The pressure is enormous, but so is the opportunity. If successful, this could be a nation-building moment for Canada. Washington erupted in outrage, calling FIFA's move a political attack and vowing retaliation. U.S. Soccer called it a betrayal, while FIFA President Infantino insisted the decision was about safety, not politics. "There is no World Cup if its participants are not safe," Infantino declared. Canada responded with readiness and resolve, promising a safe, inclusive tournament. International reaction was largely supportive, with many relieved that teams from banned countries could now participate. European federations applauded FIFA's courage, and Iran's officials welcomed the inclusive solution. The world, though saddened, accepted that FIFA had no other responsible choice. The focus now shifts to Canada's ability to deliver. The economic fallout is staggering. Billions in projected revenue and tens of thousands of jobs vanished overnight. American host cities are left with sunk investments and empty stadiums. Corporate sponsors scramble to salvage marketing plans, while Wall Street reacts with anxiety. The US-FIFA relationship is in tatters, and diplomatic tensions with Canada are rising. America's reputation as a reliable host for global events is badly damaged. The decision reinforces a narrative of American decline and instability. International organizations may now hesitate before trusting the US with major events. One sporting decision has isolated the US more than years of diplomacy. When the world turns its attention away, the real victims aren't the stadiums or the sponsors. They're ordinary Americans. Small business owners who spent months, even years, preparing for the World Cup, hoping for a surge of customers and a chance to put their towns on the map, now find themselves facing empty storefronts and mounting bills. Workers who took on extra shifts, trained for new roles, or even left other jobs for the promise of steady work during the games, are left with nothing but disappointment and uncertainty about their future. Fans, too, are left reeling. Many invested not just money, but hope, buying tickets, memorabilia, and travel plans, all in anticipation of a once-in-a-lifetime experience that's now vanished. The dream of cheering for their country on home soil has been replaced by frustration and heartbreak. For countless small businesses, the World Cup was supposed to be a lifeline. Instead, years of planning and investment have evaporated overnight, leaving many on the brink of financial ruin. Some are forced to close their doors for good, their hopes dashed by circumstances beyond their control. Community groups and non-profits who saw the event as a springboard for social change and local pride now find their efforts wasted. The chance to rally support for important causes, to bring neighbors together, and to shine a light on local issues has slipped away. Vulnerable populations, those who hoped the global spotlight would bring attention to their struggles, now fear being forgotten. Without the world watching, their voices risk being drowned out by the noise of daily life. For fans, it's more than just a missed game. It's a cultural heartbreak, the loss of a rare, unifying moment that could have brought a divided nation together, if only for a few weeks. The World Cup was meant to inspire a new generation, to ignite dreams in young athletes and unite communities in celebration. Now, it stands as a symbol of lost opportunity, a reminder of what could have been. The deep divisions that made the US unsafe for the world's biggest sporting event have also robbed it of a rare chance for unity and healing. Instead of coming together, the nation finds itself more fractured than before. In the end, instead of celebration, America is left with regret, missed opportunities, and deeper divides, a nation still searching for something to bring it together. FIFA's decision has changed the rules for global sporting events forever. Security and human rights now outweigh commercial interests in the bidding process. Future hosts will face intense scrutiny over political stability and social climate. Activists and athletes are empowered, knowing their voices can shape major decisions. The precedent may shift hosting to more stable, moderate nations, sidelining those with turmoil. But this new era brings risks, accusations of politicizing sport, and new diplomatic challenges. Governing bodies must now balance safety with neutrality, a complex and delicate task. The world of sport has entered a new, uncertain era where politics and play are inseparable. The loss of America's World Cup bid is more than just a sporting disappointment, it's a global reckoning, exposing deep national fractures that have been simmering beneath the surface for years. The world watched as the United States, once seen as a beacon of hope and unity, faltered on the international stage. This moment has forced Americans to confront uncomfortable truths about their own divisions, and the consequences are being felt far beyond the pitch. The beautiful game, long celebrated for its power to unite people across borders and cultures, has instead become a mirror reflecting the polarization and decline within American society. In stadiums and living rooms alike, the World Cup was supposed to be a moment of shared joy, but instead it has highlighted the rifts that separate communities, families, and even friends. The dream of unity through sport feels more distant than ever. Now, as Canada steps forward to carry the torch, the contrast is striking. Canadian cities erupt in celebration, embracing the opportunity to host the world, while across the border, American fans are left to grapple with disappointment and a painful moment of introspection. The question lingers: what does it mean for a nation to lose not just a game, but a chance to come together? In this new era, security and dignity are no longer optional. They are non-negotiable for any country hoping to welcome the world. The standards for global events have been raised, and the spotlight is now on how nations protect both their guests and their own citizens. The world is watching, and the stakes have never been higher. For the United States, the path forward is clear, but challenging. Before it can hope to host the world again, it must first heal its own divisions. This is a time for honest conversations, for communities to come together and rebuild trust, and for leaders to listen to the voices that have too often gone unheard. Only then can the nation reclaim its place on the global stage. Today, empty stadiums stand as silent monuments to a lost opportunity for unity. They are reminders of what could have been, a celebration of diversity, passion, and togetherness. Instead, they echo with the absence of cheers, a symbol of the work that still lies ahead. The saga of 2026 is more than just a story about sports. It is a mirror of our times, where instability, uncertainty, and division can derail even the greatest traditions. The fate of the World Cup has become a reflection of the challenges facing not just America, but the world at large. As the world tunes in to watch the next chapter unfold, the shadow of this decision will linger for years to come. The hope remains that, one day, the beautiful game will once again bring people together, not just on the field, but in the hearts and minds of nations everywhere.